So yes, everyone, welcome back to Ace Attorney. I don't think I'm gonna be doing voices because it's a lot for my throat. Maybe I'll do them every now and again, but not as commonly because it's a lot of characters. And unfortunately, I am only human. Alright, we were dealing with Lupin the Third. But it came to nothing, and that, as we Mimos say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meaning between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Yes, alright, but... on one condition. Condition? Always condition your hair, just tips. In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone. Oh right, you want to bring in Soseki. Right, we've seen this. Yeah, we've seen this. Officer, summon the witness. Again? Right, we were taking the testimony now. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined. So I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detective realized that the victim still had pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony. Hadn't I done this? Like he asked... Maybe I saved in the wrong place. Yeah, we had seen this. It wasn't even a conversation. I did pose the Withering Rose a question. Yeah, I don't deny it. A thorough cross-examination to be conducted here, of course. The court must and will know the truth. Absolutely. Yeah, this is where I saved. Weird. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses came running. I'm gonna press. That was very persistent of you, considering that Miss Brett had just turned you away. Persistence wins the prize. Any memes will tell you die. Die? Any memes will tell you die? What the fuck am I on about? Any memes will tell you that. Damn, those memes are... those memes are out for blood. Let them think you've left, then just when they lower their guard, that's when you swoop for the scoop. And the fruits of your labor are all too apparent in this telling photograph. Though I'm sure the young yokel student would rather not be reminded of this damning evidence. Actually, it's thanks to that photograph that we may manage to identify this witness. And now that you've found me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I've got nothing to hide. I'm sure. Please do go ahead, witness. The court is eager to hear what you have to say. Try to stop me. There's a story to tell here, and I'm going to tell it. So, press. And Soseki-san remained behind the hut? That's right, yep. Our author friend here was a blabbering wreck, shaking all over from his head to his toe, mustache twitching, eyes bulging. What do you expect? You don't know the terrifying troubles that taunted me whilst traveling abroad? Back behind baleful bars, they'll be coming for me, surely. And don't call me Shirley. That's all I could think. I felt as though I were grasping for air, drowning in a sea of cold sweat. Poor Soseki-san. His experiences in London have scarred him deeply. As the world seemed to close in around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha. Eternal emptiness, empty eternity. The end is coming for me, surely. Do you ever just pray to God? Because you're dying? Because it's not even wanting to die, it's just... God, you're coming, right? You're coming, right, God? You're coming for my ass? Right? No sutras are to resound in my courtroom, please. Oh, is that actually a sutra? I doubt it, but okay. And now we come to the crucial part. That's when it happened. The room where it happened? What question? What exactly did he say? Well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Where's the horse? Don't you, Mr. Writer Man? Out with it, you yokel hack. What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying English woman? Go back to hell. And by hell, I mean England. Well, in truth... Oh, he has the same eye thing as I do. I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see? I thought that was an euphemism for something, but then I remembered that they were at the beach. It's not an euphemism for anything, actually. It's just a statement. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. But then all of a sudden, that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air. Hey. I ran up to the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I I heard a faint moan, a moan from the dead English woman. I nearly jumped out of my skin. But what did you ask her, Soseki-san? I asked her, who did this to you? How did the woman respond? She didn't. She said nothing in response. But... when you understand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will! I asked her who did this to you, but she never replied. Press. So you tried to find out who the culprit was. He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool for a... You know? Yeah. Thank you, Soseki. Having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever. However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct? I know why. I know why the English woman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stoop and mustache. Because I am Japanese. Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems. Having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia. Yeah, nah. Nah. Nah, there's not any... No. But the English woman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writerman? Well, yes, alright. She did respond in a manner of speaking, of course. I suppose. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed at the direction of the defendant. In the direction of the defendant. Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant. Soseki-san, is that really true? It's not easy to stand here and say this, but... when we first entered the beach hut... the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor behind us? Before us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned their last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger to the back of the hut. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today. It was the stool. The stool killed her. Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But fiddlesticks, I say. This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Fiddlesticks. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut. But I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everyone was trembling, and everything was a blur. There was, in fact, an earthquake. In thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all. You mean that the memory of your events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear? Yes, that's it. Unclear. I'm very, very unclear. Go take a bath then. Jeez. Thinking up the courtroom.
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no other than the accused in the direction that the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could have possibly committed this crime. I am inclined to agree, and in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe that we can now conclude this trial. No. The headline's writing itself. Dashing lawyer hopes dashed. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition. This is a serial blow? Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over. But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet. Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need. They gave us their account of how the events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. Sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying, and then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife on her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty, but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question. I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add. So the gallant Yukon student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised. In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter. This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding, and how did he or she stab the victim? German. German is the international language of medicine? Really? I'd say it's an antidote, not medicine per se. Ooh. Okay. I really like her little sprite. I'm in front of it. Look, it's so beautiful. Is there something else on the knife? Doesn't seem like it. Hmm. Do you guys think that the turtle is gonna testify? Time to make up shit. Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being. Oh, to what end, Consul? Defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with their dying gesture. None exists! There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. What? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction! Fantasy! Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, Consul, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. You will present your latest theory to the court about by means of this plan. They were concealed over here. Naruhodo-san would never give up. I'm a Naruhodo now. We got married? The true culprit was concealed in this location here. Are you mad, Consul? They were outside the hut. Order? But student lawyer Naruhodo-san Esquire, that makes no sense at all. You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop, Snap. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about, I can swear to that. I am looking at the suspicious individuals right now, I would say. Obviously, if the culprits had been outside the hut, there is no way he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut. Let me guess, it was a ninja that threw a knife. It was minimal. Actually, I was about to say professor. Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. And in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed. I'm not bluffing. The defense assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. Well, get on my level, court. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. This one. It's not gonna be this one, is it? Because you can clearly see in this photo that there's a... Yeah, over there. You see? You can see it. Come on, game. Yes! 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 It is clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from the outside the beachhead. Do you take us for fools? There is no hint of any such thing. I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to. Counsel, once again I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on the it's right there. Jesus fucking Christ, get some glasses. Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds. I can't see any such thing. Get more glasses, in fact. Listen, Ouchie, I'm gonna help you. There, we have more glasses in the building now. You know what? I'm gonna help us even further. Double glasses. I get sunglasses and glasses. We're gonna see this through. We're gonna see this through, Ouchie. It's true that the hut in question had four walls, as you would expect, however. By parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them. This is extraordinary. Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Ah. And of everyone present at the scene, there is only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. But I ten many Mimo-san. It could only have been you. No! This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. Because she stood up and walked. Are we to assume as part of this farcical scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower? Japan, country of the ninjas, or something something. Objection. No, of course not. We're not. Damn. He's actually disappointed now. If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death, inside the beach hut I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on the stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she wasn't untouchable. A stool? Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the read screen. It looks like a vagina. I'm sorry. Would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on a stool. My word. So in fact, the victim was killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen. Ah. Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. By your silence, Minimimo-san. I take that you don't deny the charge. How did she get his pen? Where does the poison come into this? This is absurd. That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. He didn't say anything. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Mimbami-san, is innocent of the crime. Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave. I must say, I've never been more proud. It's not over. There's still questions. No, this can't be. The Ouchi clan can't. What of my growth? My growth of hope? It wasn't at all an apparition. I can't accept this. I won't. I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by the... Yeah, it's not over. It's not over. There's still questions. And I want to know the answer. Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals. Thank you for Blahai. But we've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut, through the reed walls. And no one but you was in place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction. So your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the English woman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. I just said it well. Why irrelevant? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. It doesn't matter, I mean. Whether she was stabbed at all, it makes no difference if you think about it. After all... You're my wonder one... No? Okay. This trial has already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. Yeah, the poison. And your pen. The poison in your pen? What? What are you talking about? Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up. There's no dirt, it's only beach sand. Which is worse. I would prefer dirt, but we know, you know. What? Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness. I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, Holly. I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right? That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are sure sign that this particular poison was used. I see, so presumably that means no one would stab someone to poison them. The victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Ah. B. C. Seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison would have not circulated in her blood. Shahaha. Ah, how refreshing to hear the argument of a metrosexual mind. What does that even mean? Eh. Precisely, it matters not a jot who stabbed whom in the whose back with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison. Damn ass Alice Cooper, back at it again.
Objection!
That can be explained by the poison being on... Susato, that makes no fucking sense. That makes no fucking sense, my dude. We both know it.
Objection!
Forgotten already, have we, yokel? What? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side to assist in improving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison in it whatsoever. So let me get this down. The facts skillfully established by the defense in this trial turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? Ugh. Well... And I got shot through the heart, and I'm to blame. I give love a bad name? Order? Where does this leave us? I don't know, man, but yeah, there's still a lot of questions. Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of the questions, actually, Your Honor. She drank it. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water in a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. Beach hut? The poison could have been slipped into either. So somebody made Miss Brett drink it. Well, what do you know? Look at those flashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, it's been established already. Established? What are you talking about? You were outside the hut stabbing her. Bitch was gonna die either way. Bitch was gonna die. Don't tell me you've forgotten. Let me capture those wide eyes. This prime press fodder this is. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet, after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. You claim it to be impossible that you're the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a journo and I'm a man, and I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's Mimos. For a brief moment, though, I did illuminate the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us? Oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and that very fact proves that I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman? The way I said it, it sounds, why would I have buttered? Why would I? Okay. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's not that funny, Ronnie. You're laughing at your own accent. Jesus Christ. Okay. 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 But why would I have butter? Okay, it's fine. Sometimes you gotta make yourself laugh. To stop the woman if I had already poisoned her. When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat? Maybe I was right about the butter. Wait. Maybe I was right about the butter. Wait. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have seized justice done. She was toast. Oh my god. What do you mean it got the goat? Wait. So you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? Even the goat and the butter. You can't blame this miserable country of ours. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? Well, I gotta say, it's still going. It's still going, that's all I'm saying. The country is still going. I wonder if Japan is like as old as Portugal? Because Portugal is one of the oldest countries in the world. I think. Did you guys know why Portugal is a country to begin with? This is completely unrelated, by the way. Portugal is a country because our first king had mommy issues. And instead of like going to therapy, he was like, no, I'm gonna fight my mom and make a country. And now we have Portugal. Ta-da! Welcome to Portuguese History 101. Portugal was founded on a mommy issue. Come back next week for more history lessons with Professor Ronnie. That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back. I plunged the blade of sweet justice right there. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim even before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Yeah, that's a woman after my— She's a child! Stay the fuck away from her, you creep. You're implicating Ray again. She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman that and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap, this journal here is off the hook. I mean, Desecration of corpse is also a crime in most places now. Not sure if it was back here. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he would not only need to have waited. He need only have waited for it to take effect. Brain isn't braining. Subsequently, the victim in the back. Stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical, just like my reading. And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite illogical. That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've seen all the light. Justice at last. This is unbelievable. And after I've made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he just going to get away with it now? Time to press. Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Very well then, Consul. Proceed with that, what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Yes, Your Excellency. Oh yes, I stopped doing Englishwoman. So you're still maintaining that she didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers. When you were already wearing braces. Braces? In your trousers? Is suspenders and braces synonyms? I'd never heard that. I thought they were just called suspenders. The accused administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. That is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows? You may even learn something here today. 2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim. Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning. That's not the kind of law this country upholds. You will reiterate that you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness. Okay, who got your goat, my dude? Bought the restaurant 9 months ago. She killed the professor. How did you not know about that? Yeah, we know that. She just jeered. Yeah, she was going to Shanghai, we know. I really felt for her. I can't. I can't stay in here and listen to this tribe. But hey! You stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of something very important. Some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. This awful man is making all of this up. Susato, please, you have to make them listen. You're not helping it, eh? We're in the middle of a cross-examination. Oh, okay, it's me. Please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly. He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, great peeping Tom. Whoa, take it easy there. Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remark. Hey, Ice. I will grant the requests of the defense. Your Excellency! This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe that it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak. Oh. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen potion. Poison! Where do I come from with the potions today? I'm in a potion mood today, I guess. Press. Stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspect her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had the knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed by the government? Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, that's where the pen comes from. Right? She put it in the ink reservoir. Getting the poison would be difficult. I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look my own enemy in the eye. Surely you can't understand that. To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it, the whole government even. It would be a complete disaster. And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns? She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and... This woman is a lesbian. This woman is a lesbian. I'm sorry, game. I see the signs. Even I see the signs now. It's not because Susato is dressed like a man. And she said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. Ah, yes. Mimo-san, one small question if you don't mind. I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably then, it was who wrote this article about what you'd heard? Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published this morning edition of Shoyu News. The details are a little too accurate for you to have been written by anyone else. Don't know what you're talking about. Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. So, peeping Tom, desecration of a corpse, plagiarism. H-bomber guy is coming. I feel him. I feel him closing in. Not on me, though. I'm good. I always cite my sources. Jesus fucking Christ. There's programs that do that for you, by the way. You just have to input that you use this and this and this and this article, and it does everything for you. It can do it. It can even list it alphabetically. You choose if you want like Chicago style, APA. And yet, people find it hard. I don't have to reveal my sources. YouTubers? YouTuber? Oh no, Mini Memo has a commentary channel. Oh no, I was right. I was right about calling H-bomber guy. Oh no. Father's clearly right about this. The reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he heard from outside the hut. So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening, and that's why we came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up! My theories never stink. Yes, they do. Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there is something I want to say, and I want it to go on record. Very well, you may amend your formal testimony. Oh god, the beast is about to come out. The point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there would be no reason to stab that person as well. Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure that the victim would die. That's horse dung. What? That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. Ramen can be spicy? What do you mean Chinese ramen? I'm confused. I'm confused. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I am a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer? As it happens, once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet, this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There was to have a good reason for that. There has to have been a good reason for that. If it was a reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly he must have done it prior to they entering the hut. Yes, that's undeniable. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed. Oh no, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, well. I think I would have a stroke. I am awful at tongue twisters, even in Portuguese. O rato roeu a rolha da garrafa do rei da Rússia. Ah, that was easy. Três tristes tigres. Três tristes tigres. Três tristes tigres. That means 3 sad tigers. And the first one is the rat, The rat nods the cork of the bottle of the King of Russia. There was one very crucial change in the situation. Sorry? The reporter overheard the conversation between Day and the Englishwoman. Yes. That's when Minnie Mimosan first found out of the nature of the poison he'd used. That would be the key here. If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable. But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Bretz's murder. If we could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for. I agree. I must try to glean more information. So, do you admit that you had murderous intentions towards Miss Bretz then? The woman's very existence offended my sense of justice. Your sense of... Sure. She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer. She was a killer queen. No? Okay. But committed murder right there in front of our empire, right on our empire soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance. So I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice. Put the things right for the people. It was my civic duty. That's what drove me to it. Sure. So, in summary, murderous intentions then. Whatever you want to call it. The point is this. That Englishwoman was a blight. So I had to do what was right for society. Yet a real wrong was done by the student girl in the dock, a crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all. I think it's a newspaper here. Or maybe this? No, this is just an indicator. It's... Wait, this isn't an antidote then. It's just... It just reacts to... It's German. Why didn't you read medicine? Yeah, it's not medicine, it's just a reagent. let me go to the menu again. Can I use the... Can I use the... Can I use the regent on the pen? I might be wrong, but I don't know where to present the evidence. I think I am onto something with the reagent and the pen, because the pen says it still has a bit of liquid in it. It says liquid, not ink. Let me just read again to make sure that I'm not hallucinating as usual. There is a very small amount of liquid still inside. Okay. I'm gonna be wrong here. Objection! Yeah, the music keeps playing. No. Can I present the pen? Objection! No. Can I present the pen here? Objection! No. Like, if I could combine the pen with the regent, it... No. Hmm. To have evidence? Is that what you want me to get at? It's not. Wait, what? She's saying something different. Okay. I hate when this happens in the Ace Attorney games. Can I present this as the reason, like you're trying to forge evidence? No. Because there's more than one way to get to. Yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat or an English woman who's very into geese. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? If anyone has any ideas, I'd be very much happy to for them. Because I have no idea. I'll just share your ideas in general, Ice. It's fine. What are you up to, Ice? Have I done this? I'm gonna try this. No. No. It's either on this one or on the last one. I wasn't on this run right. I'm gonna do it again. Sorry if I'm repeating. I'm sorry. I'm not repeating. There we go. I can think of one reason. What? But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean out all the information from this newspaper? For this newspaper, from what you overheard from outside the hut? Shut the fuck up, Soseki. Nobody asked you. A terrible toxin. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink. Where are you going with this? I'm going home. In fact, I have decided that I'm going home with this. I hope you're okay. Minimomo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed? I never had seen this word in English, because in Portuguese it exists. We say imbibed. Is it the same in English? Imbebido? The poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put. When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Minimomo-san overheard some worrying information. What worrying information? That the poison takes minutes. Oh, strict secrecy. I thought it was about the minutes that the poison would take. And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison... Yeah, telltale signs in death. Extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes, quite stark when you... Oh, okay, got it. He's trying to hide that it would have been the poison that killed her. Not among used substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would have been clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin that we've been developing. So they would still be a suspect because she knew what was up with the poison. They would still be a suspect. No, okay, this doesn't make sense. Okay, unless you're like argumenting that if... Yeah, okay, I get it, where you're going now. Okay, I get it. I get it, okay. I was being dumb. Okay. My head got there. Okay. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day, and it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and it was so traceable. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned of these facts. But you already were given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen. To hide the symptoms. Kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened. And he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would have ever suspected. This is extraordinary. The effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Okay, no, my point still stands. Yeah, sure. Ray and anyone else working on the lab would have been the ones implicated, so they wouldn't use it to kill anyone, because that would just give them away. But that would have been good for this dude. Because it's like, okay, I'm a layperson, I don't know what's in that. Must have been the girl then. Right? No, my argument still stands. Why would he want to kill her before the poison properly took effect? Sure, it would have been a very dumb mistake if Ray was the killer to use something so detectable. But for him, it would be good.
Hello, I'm gay.
Hey, Jeff.
Well, hello.
Order. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Well, there are a number of, yes. I counter completely.
Objection!
The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of the stop knot, he's clinging to lost hope. Damn! Lost hope! Now that was a murder with a lot of witnesses. You're gonna say what I just said, right? It would have been good for you. You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai. My burgeoning... Oh, I don't need a counter-argument. What are you talking about? He's talking about what I'm saying, right? It would have been good for him. Why would he need to hide the fact that it was the potion? The poison, Ronnie, not potion. You're not playing Atelier Ryza. You're playing Ace Attorney. Get it together, Ronnie. It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. Game theories. Thanks for watching. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where is your evidence? Not only the evidence, but like the logic. Like, why would he be bothered that the poison would show that it was that specific poison? He technically shouldn't know anything about it. Until that moment. And if it couldn't be proved until that moment that he knew, he would be in the clear. It's your pen. The evidence is your pen. because a fountain pen, I think there's some, especially Japanese fountain pens, there are some that can like slurp the ink from the pot. So it could have just the toxin, the poison, because that's how Japanese stationery works. You wouldn't like need to unscrew and then screw it back. I'm pretty sure there are some pens that can just like sip it up like a syringe. I am not very familiar with fountain pens because I would like, even with regular pens, my hands look like his. I have always ink all over my hands from writing with normal pens. Can you imagine me with a fucking fountain pen? I haven't even attempted that. How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, I write in many memo. A mere reporter from the Shoyu News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory. But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is a true culprit here. What's your point, you annoying... Someone's gay. Annoyingly handsome country bumpkin. Thank you for referring to me as handsome. I quite enjoy it. My point is this. There is no one way that you, Mini Mimo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. I've heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. Okay, I have evidence. Do you want me to show you the pen or the chemical reagent? Do you want the pen or the reagent? I'm gonna show the pen. It is the pen. Okay. A fountain pen. And now I use the reagent. These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now. I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy blush. Ouchie is into makeup, actually. And nothing else. These newfangled pens. Well, Ouchie, have I got news for you. Japan is like one of the leading countries in stationery, and they do love their fountain pens. As a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup son? You also have this C in English? You have this C in English as well. I was so taken aback by seeing it. We use it in Portuguese as a C, as a S, I mean. So it's soupçon, right? A soupçon of sumptuous ink, and one's work is a wash with words in the blink of an eye. That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up by the nib of the pen. Okay, yeah, I was right. They work like syringes. What does this talk of sucking up ink have to... Ah! And just as it's possible to suck up ink, you can also suck up poison. It's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. My word! Can this really be? He got sucked. When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir. Pum, 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 pum. I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would have not been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say. And thus, everyone now uses big pens. Good old Bic. I have one just by my side, so I'm not talking shit. I do love my Bic. Not sponsored. Not that, like, 30-cent pens would need a sponsor, but they do be writing. And they do be working. And they do be dirtying my hands with blue ink as well. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Minnie-Mimo-san. So that's how she got the pen. Got it. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped? At midnight. Oh, that's the ball. Are you suggesting? The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison into her glass. There could be a number of alternative explanations, for example... Goose! The witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand. No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison was filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass. Witness, what have you to say in your defense? I have the regent. I have the regent. Let me use the fucking regent game. Let me use the fucking regent. Oh no. I am now fighting Wolverine. Oh no. You claim I sucked the point. No, I have... No, I... Sir, I do have evidence. If you... Let me blow it. Let me blow up this matter. Let me do it. Yes, let me do it. Let me blow up this... Yeah, let me regent. I have evidence! This is how our modern justice system works! In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you. Very well then, I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence. This is it then. This will be the final piece of the puzzle. What if I click the wrong thing? I didn't! Go me! I can click stuff! This bottle contains unique chemical reagents that can identify the poison in question. Yes, that poison is entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for the traces of the poison. One drop of the contents of this bottle, on the tip of your fountain pen, Memo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt. No, you can't. I won't. Your crimes are bad enough, but at least you know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Uh-oh. Oh lord, he's swinging. The Empire drove me? Of course, yes. It is all my country's fault, in fact. Susato, with me! Oh my god. Yeah! Girl power! Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown. That was very cool. I vote for every trial to end like this. We just punched the perpetrator. It was clear to everyone. When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, the devil got hold of me and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied out the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen, of course, not up your ass. Yeah, that's right. Answer me one thing, Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. Then why did the English woman end up dead? That's how he tested it. I went into that hut, intending to quiz her on the situation, that's all. As a reporter. A known killer enjoying full freedom, invading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism. Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian. What did you call me? This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it really is very depressing. You see, our superiors' ways in the West. Yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave where you came from. You know she deserved to die. I know she already killed Iris's dad, but she deserved to die for being racist as well. It's fine. You know, Mini Memo, you were actually right. Never mind. That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. She had it coming. She had it coming. She only had herself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet that you would have done the same. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she had done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journal spirit, getting all fired up. Listen, it was a murder, but it was justified. That's all I'm saying. I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. But surely, as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. There is no justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in that courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up. That's what it was. A cover-up? What do you mean? I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful on what you say. Oh, come on. Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national. Consular jurisdiction should have never come into it. And yet that puffed-off Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that, behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan. What sort of deal? I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt, and it was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. He came under pressure from the government, you mean? If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? Let's not forget, Minimimo-san, that you committed murder yourself and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. I suppose. It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Oh! Ah, yes, sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here. It's almost unbelievable it is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. Thank you, thank you. I've played many Ace Attorney games, thank you. I'm glad my law degree, my imaginary law degree works. In truth, very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits. Naruhodo. Ryonosuke, you mean? The way you handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land. I mean, it's your fault. You're the judge, you fuck. That's very flattering, Your Excellency. Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries. Thank you. So, Prosecutor Aochi, do you have any final thoughts? Oh my god, he's gonna commit harakiri. Ah! The caption say Hello Kitty! He's going to commit Hello Kitty! Do you ever just want to commit Hello Kitty? Personally, I'm more of a Kuromi person. The fucking Hello Kitty took me. Prosecutor Aochi. I, Taketsushi, of the Aochi clan, have been bested by a callow youth. Not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it was withered and died here today. Your journey of cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it? Silence! I'm about to commit Hello Kitty. Rather than living in on shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path of Aochiism. Aochiism? Oh no, he has autism now. Oh no, I don't claim you as a fellow member. But I guess we can't choose who's a fellow member of the Autism Association. Yeah, come on, cut your hair. I know that's what you're doing. Sprig of my top knot. Time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsushi. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. You have been the one. You have been the one for me. Now, in regard to the defendant, Raymond Mami-san. Yes, Your Excellency? I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you... not guilty! Court is adjourned.
Easy.
It's over. So baby, goodbye. My heart is still pounding in my chest though. That's all I can do. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susato! Susato! Thank you! Thank you so much! You were so dashing in there. Rei and father. Honestly, I'm touched by everything you've... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Rei. So I would have to say all the congratulations belong to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends. And the trial's over. So, no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger. To throw caution in the wind, to the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Now, Ronnie, concentrate. A milk bar in Japan is a term for something that's not actually a milk bar, if I believe. You know, we're just gonna believe that they're going to the bakery together. It's fine. Or something. I'll think about it, Rei. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. She has tasted blood, and now... she wants more. I'm thinking of soap lands, never mind. I'm thinking of... remember one of the missions in Yakuza 0 was in a soap land? Yakuza 0? I don't remember if it was Yakuza 0 or 1. There is a part of the game that it's in the soap land. Which is... what's the word in English? Soap land. Whorehouse. What's a whorehouse? I don't remember the proper pretty term. I just remember whorehouse and soapland. It's fine. I hope you're not looking at me, Rei. Oh my goodness. No, of course not. Of course not. We can throw Soseki. Ah, there it is at last. Rei's lovely smile. You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Thank you, but I couldn't have done without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now. So, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame. Wink wink, nudge nudge. What? What is happening? People are trans, my dude. It's just how it is. Is that really you? Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope. But it's me. Susato Mikotoba. I don't... So dashing, so divine! Damn, I had everyone by the balls, I see. Even if they didn't have balls. Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine, just look at you! I had no idea, Mrs. Susato, Sans Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san's Esquire's cousin. I fucking hate the word Esquire now. Astonishing, astounding, Ace Attorney. It's me! It's me, the Ace Attorney! Because I am Ace. And I don't have a law degree, in fact. I have an Asian Studies degree. Anyway, it starts with an A, so it's fine. Poor Soseki-san. So confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison. I know how I met him. My memory is not that bad. And now he seems to have earned himself a great fame as an author. I'm stunned. It's really impressive, this guy is. Honestly, I prefer your turtle. I would rather have a turtle. But, we take what we can get. You should go treat your tuberculosis, though. Am I playing as Susato? Am I playing as Susato some more? Please? Thank you, thank you. Well, I am a professional, of course. Yes, a professional turtle man. I do worry about it, Inspector Hosonaga, sometimes. I really do. Yeah, I know, game. I know. Thank you. I played the other game. Thank you. Yeah. Hey, yeah, I know. From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean, the journalist? Dr. John Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself, I think that maybe the Raiten might know something, but I don't know if he'll talk now. He probably is gonna be executed. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch-nemesis. How lightly you utter his name. Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John Wilson. Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And that's really true. Iris is an orphan! As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. Great father. My wife just had a kid. I'm gonna go to England. I'm gonna go to England because my wife just had a kid. I took up a professorship at the Imperial Yuma University, but I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? You are not sick, very clearly. It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you would collapse with a high fever and that you were growing weaker by the day. Where did those news came from? That's what I'd like to know, because after the long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, father. Was there something in Great Britain that you preserved might inconvenience me in some way, or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? Yeah, I'd do the same. IRL. I'm sorry, my dear, I simply can't... Let me go! Many Memo-san. So, one throw wasn't enough for you. I've got one last thing to say before they take me away, Professor. Me? I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. That visiting student's fate. Giselle? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy that never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Okay. I didn't expect you to be here, actually. But here we are. Hi. What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugene. And it's a good job that I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him. And I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency? Ha 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 ha! The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seiichiro Jigoku. And I may say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken a more dashing appearance. Susato. Did you know all along from the start of the trial? Ha ha ha! The judge sees everything except the truth, apparently. I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seiichiro here hadn't known, and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So, Seiichiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled out on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. Before you go, father... Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did it admirably. Oh, thank you very much. What do you think of my Seiichiro sling, hey? Been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Ha ha ha! Whatever could father have been hiding from me? Kazuma isn't dead, right? He was still on the game cover for this one. He's not dead, is he? I'm going to have to bring this up with father sometime. When nobody else is around. Like you? Could I have a word? Of course. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. This I have to hear. Please, Soseki-san, tell me at once. I will. As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in, thank goodness for Naruhodo-san. After I secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent a telegram to you asking to return to Japan. What was it then, the particular part my father was interested in? I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in? Of course, I would never forget. Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case. The second one, you mean? The one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Which is the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of? Is the first. Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what the dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. The horrific, hideous anus case. The case of the haunted lodgings. We're going back to the brick shit house. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. I thought that whole business was over, but it seems that I was wrong. Perhaps that it was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
The end. Alright, everyone, that was the first episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Part 2. I wonder what awaits us next. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. Sounds familiar, eh? Oh, we're gonna see the Great Exhibition! Twisted Karma and Last Bow. The Resolve or Ryonosuke Naruhodo. Okay, we'll see about it next time. Let me just make sure that nothing is playing. Okay, that was the first episode. I really liked it. It was very nice. I really liked playing as Sosato. That was very cool. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope to see you again on the next episode.